sets to love.
Something extraordinary is about to unfold at Wimbledon. And looking back, the warning signs were there the whole time. 2 days ago, a 21-year-old walked onto a side court at the All England Club carrying a memory that had haunted her for a full year, and by the time she left, she'd turned that memory into a weapon. Now she's set to face the one player on tour who might be even more dangerous wounded than she ever was at her peak. And nobody can answer the question hanging over this matchup. Is Alex ready for this, or is she about to learn tennis's harshest lesson? Let's go back, because understanding what's coming means understanding what nearly broke her. A year ago, on English grass close to where she's competing now, Alex lost a final that stretched all the way to a deciding set tiebreak, the kind of scoreline that lodges itself somewhere deep and refuses to leave. She's admitted she couldn't bring herself to watch the replays for months. Most losses fade. That one didn't. It waited. 2 days ago, against that exact same opponent, it finally got its answer. Her name was Maya, and she walked into that match riding the kind of momentum that redefines a career overnight. In the round before, she'd done something almost nobody saw coming. She'd beaten Serena Williams, not a ceremonial send-off, but a version of Serena the whole tennis world had watched with bated breath, wondering whether the fairy tale had one more chapter. Maya wrote a different ending. She closed the book herself. She carried every bit of that adrenaline into her clash with Alex, and for a full set, it looked like history would repeat. Maya broke serve early, controlled the rallies, and took the opening set 6-3. Watching live, you could feel the story writing itself. Too much stage, too much pressure. Here we go again. But something shifted at the changeover that no camera could capture, something internal that had been building for a year. Alex didn't panic. She simplified her game, stopped reacting to Maya's rhythm, and started imposing her own geometry on the court, taking the ball earlier and coming forward when nobody expected it. The second set disappeared, 6-2. Then came the third, and this stopped being a tennis match and became something closer to a message. 6-0 for Alex, a bagel delivered against a woman who, 72 hours earlier, had ended the comeback bid of a legend. Final score, 3-6, 6-2, 6-0. This wasn't just a win, it was Alex reaching back across 12 months, grabbing the version of herself who couldn't even watch her own highlights, and finally letting her rest. Here's a detail that tells you who this young woman is. Stitched into the brim of her white visor, long before she stepped onto the grass, was a phrase in Tagalog. Once it grows, it cannot be stopped. It wasn't there for sponsors or cameras. She's spoken about carrying her culture and her country onto the court every time she plays. You can't coach that kind of clarity. Either you have it or you don't. All of it the Birmingham title, back-to-back wins over top 10 opponents Elena Rybakina and Alina Svitolina in Berlin, back-to-back Wimbledon victories including a comeback capped by a bagel, now collides with a name carrying more weight than almost anyone else in the sport, the defending champion who lifted this trophy 12 months ago. You'd think this is where the underdog story hits its ceiling, because you don't usually beat someone like that on momentum alone. Normally you'd be right. Except 2026 has been a strange, unsettling year for the defending champion, and the deeper you look into her season, the more unstable it looks. It started unraveling in Miami, where she lost her opening match to fellow Pole Magda Linette, unthinkable a year earlier. Within days, she and longtime coach Wim Fissette parted ways, and a new team built around Rafael Nadal's former coach, Francisco Roig, was meant to steady things for clay season. It didn't. She fell to Elena Rybakina in the Australian Open quarterfinals, then to Mira Andreeva in Stuttgart, before a mid-match retirement in tears at Madrid, trailing an unseeded American as her body gave out. She later revealed it was a virus. Dizziness, blurred vision, zero stability, only the third retirement of her career. Then came the moment that should have been unthinkable. Roland Garros, her fortress, won 4 times, the place she'd operated in a different tier from everyone else on tour. She lost in the 4th round in straight sets to a player who, on paper, had no business dismantling her that convincingly. Her grass court tune-up went no better, an opening loss in 3 sets at Bad Homburg, her second straight defeat to the same American opponent, and she arrived at Wimbledon still hunting for her first title of the season. Her first match here told an even Messier story, a dominant opening set, a lost second set, and a fight just to survive into a third visible instability from someone who's spent years being the calmest presence in the sport. Her second-round match looked cleaner on the scoreboard, but owed more to a lopsided matchup than a real return to form. So here's the real question. Not whether the champion is dangerous, because she always is. 6 Grand Slam titles don't evaporate over one bad season, but which version of her walks out? The one unraveling under pressure all year, or the one who's built a career finding her best tennis exactly when everyone assumes she's finished? This isn't the first time these two have played each other. 15 months ago, in the Miami quarterfinals, when Alex was largely unproven, she beat the woman who'd go on to win Wimbledon the following year 6-2, 7-5 by standing inside the baseline and attacking second serves before they could settle. A month later on clay in Madrid, the champion answered back, coming from a set down to win 3-6, 6-4, 6-2. One win apiece, hard court to the underdog, clay to the champion. Now they meet on grass for the first time. Grass doesn't distribute advantages evenly here. The champion's greatest weapon is a forehand loaded with heavy topspin that kicks violently off clay and steals preparation time. On grass, it behaves differently. The bounce stays low, the kick flattens out, and she has to lean on her serve as a stabilizer in a way she rarely needs elsewhere. Across their head-to-head, Alex has actually returned the champion's second serve slightly better than the champion has returned hers, a small margin. But on this surface, small margins matter. Alex, on this surface, is almost the mirror opposite. She hits flat through the court rather than over it. Taking the ball early with timing, she's sharpened all grass season. Her left-handed serve skids awkwardly into right-handed opponents' bodies, and she's been coming to net more aggressively than ever before. Those serve and volley sequences against Maya weren't improvisation, they were a calculated plan to disrupt someone who thrives on long, controlled baseline exchanges. But before anyone crowns the underdog too early, let's pump the brakes that would be just as foolish as writing her off completely. This is still a 6-time Grand Slam champion ranked inside the world's top 4, who's called Alex's game tricky precisely because it doesn't let her settle into rhythm. Bookmakers still list her as a heavy favorite, and she's walked through terrifying moments before and found her way through. Alex, for all her momentum, has never stood this deep in a Grand Slam before. This is already the first time in the Open era a Filipina has reached the third round of a major singles draw, uncharted territory for a 21-year-old facing a legend on one of the sport's biggest stages, before a crowd unlike anything Wimbledon has typically hosted. The Filipino community across the United Kingdom has turned Alex's matches into something the All England club has never seen before. Flags waving from every corner of the stands, chants rising and falling with every rally. If Alex breaks early and pulls that crowd fully in, the psychological weight on the other side of the net becomes something else entirely to carry. Keep your eyes on 3 things once this match begins. Watch where Alex stands to return serve. Stepping inside the baseline like she did in Miami means her confidence has arrived. Backing off means the occasion is winning. Watch how deep the champion's forehand lands in the opening exchange is dialed in. It pins opponents back immediately. Off, it lands short and becomes an invitation instead of a weapon. And watch the second serve under pressure if this stretches to a third set, because the champion's inconsistency in tight moments has been the single biggest storyline of her season. Everything, the head-to-head, the surface, the form lines, the crowd, the psychological weight each woman carries onto that court points to something the seedings could never capture on paper. This match is genuinely, dangerously open, not because of hope, but because of cold, specific evidence sitting right there for anyone willing to look closely enough. A year ago, Alex couldn't bring herself to watch a loss to this same dangerous opponent. Now she's about to walk onto the biggest court of her life, carrying that memory like fuel instead of weight, wearing 4 words in her own language that promise once something starts growing, nothing can stop it. Whether that promise holds up under the loudest pressure she's ever faced is the one thing not even the numbers can tell you yet. You're going to have to watch to find out.